I'll take the.
Yep.
I'll take the sounds as a yes.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Alrighty.
All right, everyone. Welcome to OSC News and Highlights for what's today? The 11th and 12th. Freddie.
Yep. 12th here, early morning.
Easy enough. Well, what happened to my cameras here? Oh, it's because Crimson dropped again. All right, well, he'll fix that in a minute. Welcome him back. That wasn't supposed to happen this early. Everyone, welcome to the show. We will be doing our drawings today, so pretty exciting stuff.
Yes, I brought my pen and paper, so it's going to be a good competition.
Right. Here, I tell you what. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna fix this just in case he drops again, and that way I can flip back and forth here. I didn't know how often he was actually going to be dropping, but I'll fix it real quick. But everyone, welcome.
New Zealand internet.
Right. That's the real joke.
Oh, that's me. I'm big man.
Australian internet? You mean New Zealand internet? Okay, let's see. And then we just got to add Eddie. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. We're back, though. Not a big deal. Wouldn't be a live show if we didn't have some sort of technical issues. So, but yeah. So we'll be doing our giveaway today. So our guest for today, to start with, is always Eddie. Obviously basically the co-host of the show. Always with me when we get around to doing these now. A little more sporadic than they used to be, but we still do them, and they're still fun. We just get more to talk about.
I think our last show was probably about 6 weeks ago, but I'm always up for a chat about StarCraft. It's always good to come on here, but it's hard to find the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then joining us today, we have Starkiller representing Dust Gaming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So welcome, my dude. How have things at school been doing? You've been cleaning up at those at those school tourneys.
Well, I just I've been doing really good. I won 2 Rutgers tournaments, and I just finished my first year at Round Post, so I'm going to be hitting my sophomore year in like 2 months. So had the summer off, so lots of StarCraft practice, which is nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, good. Yeah, man. Like I said, I've been following you on Twitter. You see you winning, it makes me jealous, which makes me wish I was, going to school and being able to play for cool prizes.
Mm-hmm. It's really neat. And then I also started streaming too recently, which has been a big success for me. So
you better give a shout out to the stream.
Yeah, Starkiller SC on Twitch.
There we go.
I've been 6 to 7 days a week, so it's been really well with that.
There we go. There it is. And then joining us also, who will probably be dropping in and out sporadically, is Crimson.
So it appears. Yeah, I'm good, man. Obviously got a few PC issues, but hopefully they cleared themselves up now. But no, otherwise I'm pretty good.
Good, man. Glad to have you here with us today. And yeah, just ready to talk about some StarCraft with you guys. It's always a good day when we can spend the evening, what time is it? And what time is it for you guys? For me and Starkiller, it's early evening.
Yeah,
pretty much middle morning here.
Mid-morning.
11:30 for me.
Exactly.
9:30 start for me.
There's not a bad time to talk about StarCraft, though. That was the point, guys.
All day, every day.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So yeah, does anyone else have any news? Anything going on for them right now? I got the Scythe Esports stuff. We'll be. We got some cool stuff coming. I know that everyone hates when you say that shit. Like, I'm just letting you know right now, something big is coming. Like, okay, thanks.
The announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, dude. But it's like to get people. I don't know. It's to get people hyped though. So we got like a lot of cool shit coming. Like, I'm not gonna give up too much, but we're looking to sign a couple more players, some bigger names. So that'll be cool.
You just got Agile, right? Too.
Not him. But yeah, we did.
I thought you got somebody.
No, we did. We did. No,
yeah.
we did. Yeah. No, I was just downplaying him. Yeah. I'm just joking. Yeah, we did. We did get Agile, and he's been absolutely great as far as motivating some of the other guys. He's a great motivator.
Yeah, for sure.
So happy to have him on board, like 100%. But there's some other stuff besides that coming too. So, yeah. But what about for you guys?
For me, just OSC stuff, work. I've been doing a bit of fantasy sports online for AFL. I've been really getting into that.
I haven't seen that.
Sort of like, I guess, the same like NFL fantasy sport type of thing, and going quite well this year. I'm ranked about 75th out of 200,000 people. So you never know, I might make a few dollars at the end of the year, but it's good fun. I love my AFL footy.
It's really good.
Good shit.
For me, I've been I competed at Sidestorm Cup this summer, and I got Renovate finished there. I lost the probe in the Renovate, but had a really good show, so that was really good.
Nice. Yeah. How I actually, because I haven't really talked to anyone that's been. How was that as an event overall? Because I know that
it was really well organized. I was really surprised. It went really smooth, and I mean, there was like a whole fair outside of it too.
Right.
Everything just went really well, in my opinion, and it was just organized, and that pretty much all went to schedule too. So,
did you like experience the whole thing, or were you just there for like the tournament?
I was just there for the tournament, really, for the most part. But I mean, the venue was really good, and I had no complaints.
No, that's cool. Hopefully, we can do something like see more stuff like that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Crimson. What about you? What's been new with you?
I also have a lost to probe recently, so I guess we share that in common. So obviously that was in the Valencia qualifiers where I got yet again another 5th, 6th finish. Consistency is nice, I suppose, but didn't quite break into that top 4 like I was hoping. But obviously, 2 teammates qualifying is great for us to have them over there this weekend. Mm-hmm. Really excited for them because I went to Austin with those guys, and it is a really cool experience, particularly for players coming out of our region. So
definitely,
basically going to be cheering them on, and then obviously working for my own qualification for Montreal, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it starts tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure how because our time zones are all messed up. So
well, like this one's
I
this
think
one's
it
a
is
little
tomorrow,
bit.
though,
This
yeah.
one's a little bit different though, because I guess because time zone wise, it's not different. But yeah, for me, it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday competition. So it's just kind of weird for that. But if you're there, yeah, obviously it's not like that. But still pretty cool, pretty interesting. And yeah, obviously like we'll have pretty much a full weekend of really good games to watch. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so obviously we're getting started with the show. It's a big show today. Obviously we have our 5 participation awards for our lottery drawing, which we'll be doing here in a moment. Basically we'll just have a big list, draw some names out of a virtual hat, and then yeah, we'll get a couple winners here. So pretty excited. I believe we've got the 5. What is it, Eddie? It's the first one we'll do is a $50 dollar drawing, correct?
Yeah, so we have 5 individual draws. First one is a cash prize, $50. Then we have 75, 100, 150, and then we have a big one. The big one everyone's been chasing, which is return flights there and back to a StarCraft 2 event of your choosing, accommodation for that event, and entry if you need it. So whatever that may be, you want to go to WCS, you want to go to GSL, you want to go to Philadelphia, we'll help you set that up. So that's a new initiative we've launched this year to encourage participation. Basically, all you had to do was play in 5 tournaments throughout the year, and that would give you one ticket in the lottery. And that scales upwards. So if you played in 10 tournaments, you got 2 tickets. If you played in 20, you got 3, all the way up to, if anyone was crazy enough, to 150 tournaments in 6 months, you got 15. So we had a couple of guys have a really good active 6 months, and those were Yuko and Starkiller, with 91 and 81 tournaments respectively, and they had the most tickets, which is 8 each. However, we've had a lot of players play OSC, so there's a lot of tickets in the draw, which we have a total of 570 tickets. So anyone could have a chance. It's a small chance, but yeah, it should be good. Someone's going to be lucky.
And before Eddie wins the raffle, indeed.
I know, right?
Oh, look at that! I won the flight. Huh? Lucky me.
I think a loser he would have won if he played it. If he had it like this last year, he would have won.
Oh right, 100%.
He had so many games.
Well, he had 300 total last year, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's why I set the 150 goal for 6 months. But
Mhm.
Yuko was on pace, but he sort of disappeared over the last maybe 6 to 8 weeks. I haven't really seen him play in tournaments, surprisingly. He would have passed 100. Yourself, Starkiller, you've been really ramping it up lately.
Yeah, summer break.
Playing as well as winning tournaments, so that's good to see.
Good deal.
You'll be overtaking him soon, I think.
Yeah, for sure, I think.
Good
Which is
deal.
good.
Yeah, I mean, there's always money to be made, by utilizing, OSC. So it's great. So there's so many benefits, right? Like you get tickets into this. There's bounties to be won. There's tournaments to be won. There's so many different things. So obviously, OSC is just like a great place to get money from and to compete from and everything. Like it's all around good. So I love it.
We'll be doing these lottery draws live on stream as well. So we hit the button, you see it, we see it, same time.
Yep. All right. So we should, I think, and then we already talked about like for the next season, it'll work the same way, right? For the next drawing.
Yes.
Perfect.
So
how you get points.
Start playing tournaments now, start earning tickets.
All right. So here we go. I will turn on my my screen share here for you. So here we have our list of everyone, so you can see. So go ahead and we'll do.
It's a big list.
Control C. Then I'm actually going to refresh this because I had already pasted it in there, but just so you know that it's there. We go. Control V. So they're all in there. Hit randomize. And Cyark is our first winner of $50. So congratulations to Cyark. Woo!
Indeed. Japanese Terran player from the Southeast Asian region.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice dude.
Yeah, he's a really good, cool dude. Yeah.
And now he's $50 richer.
That's right.
So good deal. So someone let him know because he's probably not watching right now, but we should let him know and get everyone else in here as well. Let's see here. Okay. Moving on. I know we wanted to talk about GSL. Let's quick take a look at those groups. Here we are. So just to briefly, go over everything thus far. We had SOS and Rainer get out of Group A. Group B was Maru and Leenock. Group C was Innovation and Stats. What did you guys think of Rainer's performance?
He played amazing Rich Classic, to be honest. Like, especially that second series, the last game of it, that was incredible. It went like 25 minutes or whatever, and it was like full base trade. I thought that was just an amazing performance by him.
Right. That's I love the memes that come along with Rainer winning. Like, who would win? Like a world class champion that's won the most money ever, or one spaghetti boy? Like I love those so much.
It's nation wars all over again.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the level that he's playing at. The game came out. What did they say? It came out when he was 8, like 8 years old or 9 years old or something like that, and now he's playing in GSL. Like that's. Why couldn't that have been me? That's all it made.
We were all born 10 years too late, right?
Right.
No regret. Filmed a nice little video piece on him as well for that. So check it out if you haven't already. I think Blizzard promoted it. It was a good little behind the scenes look at him. What really impressed me was his aggressive style throughout the game. Like he was almost always behind on supply, but just the multitasking and sort of like units in 3 places and just really trying to pull Classic apart. And despite being low tech, low army supply, and against probably you'd think top 3 Protoss in the world to do that and just to stay in the game, and it was really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, and I think that's difficult to do when you're so young, so inexperienced on a stage like GSL. It's much easier to just sit back, and usually you end up just dying to something that you're too scared to do anything. Whereas he was completely on the other end of the spectrum. He was everywhere, and that's really difficult to do. I felt like Classic, not to rain on Rainer's parade, but Classic probably wasn't at his best in the second series. But part of that was basically Rainer putting him under pressure. I know he forgot to hold position the Zealot and the Wall twice in the same game. So that was obviously a big error. But then again, you can put that down to Rainer putting the pressure on and forcing him to basically make mistakes. And yeah, game 2 was amazing. Really fun to watch. There was one point where I thought Classic might swing it his way, and he was just a little bit slow sending the Warp Prism in when Reyna was maxed, and basically Reyna managed to trade enough off the reinforcements dealt with the Warp Prism. Feels like if the Warp Prism went in 30 seconds earlier, then it may have been a different game, but yeah, it was one heck of a watch, that was for sure.
Sure.
His series versus Ryung was also quite good. Macro games, sort of late game ZVT as well. So he's not afraid to go the distance with the top Koreans. He's not one of these guys that just rocks up with a build and tries to take him down quick. He's definitely got a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of hope we don't overhype him too much as well, because I know, we have this tendency, particularly with foreigners in the GSL, to overhype them. Mm-hmm. I know Scarlett, when she went on that run and she won IEM and she knocked Innovation out of GSL when everyone was sort of pushing her on for more. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if the pressure, becomes a bit much, but hopefully, this kid's still 16, like he's got a lot of time to improve, and I think round of 16, anything from now on is a bonus, really.
Right. Yeah, this is like his first year, like competing a lot offline events, because now he can actually compete at 16, and this is like just really impressive how well he's been doing under all this pressure.
Yeah. From the outside looking in, he just looks like such a bubbly, happy kid. He's always smiling. So hopefully he can keep that going and doesn't let the pressure get to him, or at least it doesn't appear that way so far. So, yeah.
I think actually
he's got a big future.
Yeah. So I think younger kids like his age, like I think it happens when you get older, right? But I think when you're still that young, I don't think they let the pressure get to them. I don't think they feel that pressure build up because they're just so like, not lackadaisical, that's not the right word, but just like worry free, I guess, right? Like they're just like kids. Like whatever, like he's probably worried about like girls at this point. He's like, forget GSL, dude. Like there's a really hot girl in my class and like I can't talk to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what he's worried about. He's not worried about competing on these stages. Like he's worried about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when you're 19, 20 years old, it's like, oh my God, it's like all that pressure. It's like so much. But I feel like when you're that young, like it's just nothing. He's like, yeah, bring it on. Like, let's go, Mm-hmm. I like you think about like when you were younger, you were almost like fearless, right? Like I remember I used to like I would catch like snakes and like frogs and all that kind of stuff, and now I'm just like a big wuss, and I'm like no, like get it away from me, like I don't want to be near it. Like I have to like I can't even like kill a spider with my hand, like I have to like get a shoe or like something else, like I can't even like touch it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but as kids, we're just fearless. Like, I don't know. I remember like eating dirt as a kid. Like, what the fuck? maybe I was just a dumb kid, but you get the point I'm making. Like, kids just do like whatever they're gonna do. But yeah, looking at the groups again here, let's go back here and just take a look at some of these other groups. So Mario, Leenock, I think that was the big surprise for Group B, right? Was Leenock getting out? Like, I think everyone thought like 100% it was gonna be Deer and Maru. Mm-hmm. Including Artosis. So Artosis jinxed it again.
I thought Deer didn't play that well versus Leenock at all, though. I feel like overall it was just sloppy.
No, you're right. Yeah,
it was really poor. Yeah, it was like kind of unusual. Like Deer's never been a consistent player per se, but that was really off the deep end for him.
Yeah.
No idea why. Just didn't bring his game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good for Leenock though, like finishing, like he's kind of been like around a 32er for a while now, so it's kind of good to see like him move back in, and then maybe he can even go farther. So we'll just have to see. And then obviously we just had Group C today, so Innovation and Stats moving on over Cure and Hurricane. I think that's kind of what we thought was going to happen. Really, I mean, do you guys have a different opinion on that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe
two powerhouses.
Yeah, maybe Cure on his day has an outside shot there, but yeah, I think Innovation and Stats are just too good in that group.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play against that. And then so coming up for the next group here, we will have Gumiho, MMA, Hero, and Solar. Do you guys have any predictions on those?
I think it's going to be Gumiho and one other. I don't think it'll be MMA as much as it would be fun to see him get out. I think the reason this group has 3 such strong players is Hero actually failed to make GSL last season, so he was given one of the lower 2 seeds coming into this season. So, I mean, Gumiho has been on a tear recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tops that group. And then I would say it's probably a 2-1 either way to Hero or Solar.
I think Solar might do it. He's been playing really well recently.
I think ZVP is still his strong point, so he's got a good chance.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Hero play tournaments, so it's hard to get a good read where he is at compared to, say, 6 months ago. So I'd go Gumiho and Solar as well.
I'm gonna go Gumiho and MMA. I'll just take it. I got to be different. I got to have that difference in opinion. I think MMA could do it. I think he's been playing well, and I think he's got good enough practice partners where he can really come up with something creative and like get out of that group. So, but well, I guess we'll just have to see. Do you guys want to do predictions for the other rounds too?
I'm fine with that.
Certainly can, yeah.
All right, let's take a look here again. So then Group E, we've got Zest, Parting, Impact, and Beyond. I think that sounds a little harder to predict. I think.
It's just tough. Personally, I'd say Zest, and I haven't seen much of Impact recently, but I think Parting's even been playing really well. But I'm going to go with Zest Impact, I think.
Yeah, I'd hesitantly say the same. I mean, Beyond, again, is kind of someone who bounces back and forth with his form. So, but then again, Impact seems to have real trouble with a GSL. I mean, he's brilliant in online tournaments. Be nice to see him break out in the GSL a bit more and hit the round of 16, round of 8 sort stage.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Zest and Impact's underrated, but he always has to run into like your top guys like TY or something like that. Just an example, I don't know. But if he can have a good group here and then maybe a good round of 16, that'd be nice. I hope he gets through. And then, like you said, Parting's sort of back, isn't he? He's not just a streamer; he's performing in tournaments, and I'll give him a chance PvP against Zest.
Maybe. I mean,
interesting group.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know. I have a hard time with this one. I think because it's between Parting and Impact. I think, right? And I think I don't know. Even though I bet the underdog with MMA, I think I'm going to go Impact too. I think this is Zest Impact. So that's 100%, and then Impact.
Yeah.
And then moving on into Group F, we've got TY, Ragnarok, Bunny, and Trap. I feel like we haven't seen Ragnarok for a while. I could be wrong though. I just feel like I haven't seen his name in a while.
He failed to qualify last season, which I was kind of surprised by because I mean obviously the qualifiers aren't quite as strong as they used to be. And he was putting out some pretty decent performances, but I can't see him getting out of this group, to be honest, as much as I'd like him to. He's a really cool dude. But out of the other three, honestly, I think Bunny could surprise. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bunny go through, but I still think TY Trap is the obvious choice.
I think TY 100%. I think Bunny's such a... He's not like an odd player, right? Like, it's such a weird thing to say, but, like, I feel like Bunny has no weakness. Like he's decent in everything. While certain players specialize in things, right? Bunny is like the guy who's just got like 8s in everything. Like doesn't have any 10s, but he's like an 8 in everything. Like he's just super solid. You know, he'll lose to a couple things here and there, but overall, is just like a really solid player. So I always have a hard time sleeping on him just because I know like how good he actually is. He just always can't show it, right? Because like he'll lose to gimmicky things or whatever. You know, but his builds and his plays are just super solid. So
he's probably a bit like Impact that way. He just needs that one breakthrough tournament.
I think so, really. But I'm gonna have to do a coin flip between Bunny and Trap on which one would get out. But I definitely think it would be TY plus one or the other.
Yeah, I've just opened up Bunny's Allegulat because I know his TVZ has always been very strong. But he has like a 300-point difference between his TVZ and his other two matchups. So. Wow. You know, he could beat Ragnarok, but obviously his TVT and his TVP are probably his weak points. So does he beat TY or Trap? Probably not.
Yeah. I think I still think TY Bunny because Bunny's just like, he's a very consistent style, and he's not like, he can macro, he can also cheese. I feel like he's just all around a solid player. So I was teammates with Bunny at one point too, and he's like, the way he plays is very technical, and I don't know, it's not like, beyond like micro, but like the way he plays is just very technical. So I'm gonna go with him.
No, I'd have to. Yeah. Let's see. Group G, you got Dark, Neeb, Lucira, and Alive. Well, I think Dark.
I think I was watching the Pylon show last week, and I think Artosis and In Control were talking about Reyna and stuff, and they mentioned that Neeb was the main practice partner for Reyna, I believe. So if he has that really good PVZ you'd expect practicing with Reyna, he'd have to be a really good chance against Dark and certainly Lucira here.
Yeah, it's weird because on the face of it, I think the obvious big names there are Dark and Neeb, but Alive and Lucira seem to be on sort of little resurgences at the moment. Mm-hmm. Alive is another person who, consistently will make GSL, but sometimes is a little bit inconsistent beyond that point. But Lucira's really surprised me recently. He's kind of been on the up in the online sort of tournaments, and he's just looked generally stronger. Him and Lennox seem to be like the resurgent Zergs at the moment. So I'd say Dark Neeb, but I think any one of those four could sneak out.
Mm-hmm. I feel Neeb's been a little bit inconsistent recently, losing the Silky in WCS Challenger.
Right.
And I feel like just overall his performances, he's very stubborn how he plays. He likes to go his own way, and then if something happens early game, then sometimes he just loses the game really fast. I think Dark and Lucira are picking up on that as well. And I think Dark is going to get through in first, that group. I think maybe Neeb are Alive for second. It's hard to say for that.
I think, Dark and Neeb, but I would not be surprised if one of Lucira or Alive made it through. Like, I've seen a lot of Lucira play in OSC tournaments this year. He started the year, below the skill level he is now, it's fair to say. Like, he was winning probably 60% of series, and over the last few months he's built that back up now. He's got a 71% series win rate, and that's normally including pretty deep runs against top foreigners, top Koreans. So I've seen improvement over the last few months, and I'll certainly give him a good chance against anyone in that group. It's a tough group, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Just to close it down, I think Dark 100% will get through. Otherwise, I don't know on the other ones. Like you guys were kind of saying, like Neeb's poor performance here in the past against like Silky makes me question it. Even though he has been playing with Raynar, I'm just not 100% on that right now. I'm not for sure how I feel about his play right now. So I think I'd have to go with either Korean. I think I'll have to give them the edge. I think Neeb definitely can come out, but I think he's really got to work for this one. I don't think it's going to be kind of like as easy as it has been in the past for him. So
I think this weekend might give us a bit of a clearer idea of where he's at as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, and let's take a look at our last group here. We got Sue, Special, Keen, and Rogue. So what do you guys think of that one?
Artosis was calling this the group of death. He had highly rated all these players, and I think he's right. It's a tough group.
Well, I think Sue's second place gets out because it's not round of it's not finals yet, so the curse isn't in effect yet.
He did well at Home Story Cup recently.
So I think the real story comes down to the other three, right? Is it Special, Keen, and Rogue? While like Rogue's been excellent, hasn't really had a whole lot going on as of late. Then you've got Keen and Special, obviously two great Terran players. Special being like probably the best Terran foreigner, I'd say, right? Like, any objection to that?
Not really.
I got
No, I think maybe Hero Marine is close to that level. Euthermal on his day, certainly, but yeah, he's number one.
Okay, that's just because no one plays on Europe anymore, so Big Gabe's just got all the points. But obviously super good. Yeah, I don't know. I think in this one I'll take the foreigner. I think I'll take Sue Special to go 1-2 on that one.
I would have to say, I think Sue Rogue. I think Rogue reminds me of like the Sarl of EU in a way. His play style, he plays very solid all around. Like he's just a late game Zerg, very good in all parts of the game. And I feel that overall, Special and Keen, they can't really keep up as well with him in macro. So I feel like they get to the late game stages. I think Rogue has an advantage. Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I don't think Rogue will lose ZVT to either of those guys. Against Sue, it really just depends. It's kind of those two are always back and forth in ZVZ. Right. They've tended to be the stronger ZVZ Koreans, those two. So that one could go either way, but I don't see Rogue losing a ZVT to Special or Keen in the current form. Sue, to me, has kind of been slipping off the... It feels weird to say this, but I keep writing him off, and then he keeps somehow putting these tournament performances out. So as much as I want to say that this might be Keen or Special's time, I still think Sue gets through. Just mechanically, I think he's too solid against those two.
I think Rogue and Special. But I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If with the GSL group selections round of 16, do you think people will be wanting to select Reina as a foreigner, or will they try and avoid him?
I think it depends, right? Like, I think that's someone who, like, okay, just looking at who's gotten out first so far. So you've got SOS, Mario, and Innovation, so they'll have, like, first picks. So I'm thinking how they pick. I feel like SOS would be someone who would pick him, because SOS is kind of like, no, like, I like to play good people. Whereas, I don't know, I feel like Mario, like, tries to pick his friends, and Innovation just kind of picks whoever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think the Koreans just think the foreigners overall are not as like dominant, so I feel like they're more likely to pick Rainer first.
Yeah, I think they'll see Classic's series against Rainer, and they'll think if they can just play solid, standard style and not make the mistakes that Classic did in the second series, I think they'll see Rainer as, at the current time, a weaker player out of the 16 that go through. That's not to say he's a bad player at all, but when you look at the caliber of people that are going to be coming second in some of these groups, chances are he gets picked up pretty quickly.
Eddie,
but I don't think a Zerg will pick him. I don't think anyone will take him on ZVZ.
Okay.
Do we tend to see rematches in a round of 16, like number one player reselecting like Rainer? So SOS would select Rainer. Has that happened in the past?
I'd be fairly sure it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe SOS could pick up Rainer.
That's just
I was thinking someone more like Maru might pick on Rainer, sort of thing, because Maru's TVZ is obviously, off the charts, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I guess that'll be a fun one to watch. I always like watching those, just because they, they're always laughing and stuff and like doing, like funny things. So it'll be fun to watch. All right. Next we have Valencia here, which starts tomorrow or later today, depending on where you live. So let's take a look at the players that we'll be seeing here. So for our qualified players, we have Haas, Mana, and Puck representing Protoss. For our Terran players, we have Hut, Kelzer, Seether, Special, and XY. And then for Zeri, we have Ayasanu, Namshar, Rex, Scarlet, Cyril, Silky, Snoot, and True. So pretty good core group, right?
Yeah, definitely. Always the top challenger players are quite good from every region.
Yep. And then some notable signups here we have. I won't read them all, but you guys can kind of take a look here, browse through that, and see if there's anyone that kind of stands out to you.
Well, obviously the one you mentioned earlier with the Silky upset over Neeb. Neeb will be coming through the open bracket. You got past champion Alaza. You got like Lambo. Is Mana there? No, he's qualified. But Rayna, GSL. You could pick a dozen names. Stefano, sort of. Anyone, Harstam.
How about Rhett?
Yeah.
That's an interesting name.
He's a bit of an unknown. I haven't seen him play.
Even Vortex,
old school player.
Yeah, old school. I think the last time I even saw him play anything was when they had the what was it, that SC20 special, right? When they were out at the house playing all the games and stuff. That was like I think the last time I even watched him play a game, and that was mostly like Brood War, stuff. So yeah, I'm not really for sure. I'm excited to see him though. I'm kind of curious to see what he can do. So, but I think it's gonna be pretty tough to get out of this. I think it's gonna be pretty hard to get out of this open bracket. Like I look at this, and I'm comparing it to like who we had like for Austin, and I'm like, oh well, yeah, there's like way more better people in this one than there was in Austin. Like in Austin, some of those groups were like, oh yeah, you could probably see some upsets. There was like a little bit closer in skill gaps, but I'm looking like these groups are probably gonna be pretty damn stacked.
Well, the groups are out if you want to take a look for the first round. It's interesting though that we talk about Austin and how full that open bracket was and players missing out, etc. Unfortunately, but if you look at some of these groups released, there's a few that aren't filled already, and surprising since Europe has a huge player base and it's probably not too hard to get to Spain. So yes, surprising that I think 1, 2, 3 groups not filled at the moment.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if word about how full Austin was and players missing out, if word got out and that kind of negatively impacted people who maybe were, 50-50 about going. I'm not sure, I'm just sort of speculating, but that may be why a few people are missing.
Let's just hope they don't forget Hud in the round of 32 this time, right?
Yeah, he was unfortunate last time. But they did issue an update regarding the open bracket process, that it's going to be via WCS points, who gets priority, which I think is fair enough. Last time, obviously, there was a few issues with players being skipped and WCS points weren't a factor. And given it's a WCS event, that's probably your go-to reference point. So they've adjusted that. So if there is spots open in this bracket, which there appears there is, you would think it would go to the highest performing player for the year, which is fair enough.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to talk about what happened at Austin. we
could be here for hours.
Yeah, we've found that enough times. Yeah. I mean, I have more than enough to say, but we won't go there. But yeah, let's just take a quick look at these groups again. Quick browse over. So Neeb, Optimus, Showtime, Gerald, Elroy. So I'm just kind of flying through here to see if I see any of them that are particularly difficult. Let's see. And you guys feel free to point them out too. I'm just browsing over them. If you see any that are,
I think Group I could be an interesting one.
He can get out.
Yeah, of course. But Master, Hellraiser, and really depending on what Luciferon's form is and how much he's been practicing. I mean, it could be any of those three guys. I think Hellraiser gets kind of overlooked. So that's
Hellraiser's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's definitely underrated, I think, outside of Europe. So that could be an interesting one. And I think Group J as well with Vortex or Rail. I'd imagine Stefano gets out. But Vortex again, how much has he played? What sort of form is he in? And Rail is kind of one of those Europeans that flies under the radar as well. So it's really going to be a battle between those two for the second spot, I think.
I know Stefano's very good, but I'd be leaning towards even Rail favourite in that group. He's in really good form at the moment. and Vortex and Lucifron, the brothers on home turf, both were years back the top players or amongst the top players for their race of foreigners. So, that mechanics and that skill level doesn't fade away completely. And if they've been even practicing for just a few weeks, they might have a good shot here. And Jacko's another good Grandmaster player. Like, give him a good shot against Vortex, in current form, and even Rail PvP or something like that. So that's a very interesting group, as you mentioned. And there's a few groups. I think there's 3 good players. I think Art is another underrated Protoss in Group D. I think someone like Ryosis in Group A has been getting some decent runs in tournaments. Like Optimus would be probably favoured ahead of him, but I could see a 2-1 sort of thing.
I think Group A is kind of interesting too. Little Kenyan and Risky. That's going to be a little bit close, I think, too.
Memes could ensue.
Huh?
I said memes could ensue on that.
Yeah.
With those guys playing each other. I think.
I'll have to cheer for the New Zealand player there.
I think Group O is going to be an interesting group too. Got Sort of and Zanster, so kind of too close. They're pretty good friends. Clashing together in the same group against Space Marine with Red in that group as well. So I think that'll be a neat one to watch as well.
And the young guys, Clem and Rayner, playing open bracket.
Yep. Yeah, Clem. Yeah, here, I'll show it again here. Clem's group, Harstem, Clem, Majestics. So, and then let's see here. Where's Rayner's group?
Group D.
Group D, right. Yeah, I think those two, Nurture and Rayner, will probably get out.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to be first and second, though. That's a close one, I think.
Yeah. Not to throw shade, I just think those two.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if NXZ can get out of his group. I hope he does.
I think he should. I mean, I know Yogo's certainly going to be competitive, and I'd imagine Sol probably tops the group in pretty much 90% of the days. But yeah, I think Ryan will get through that group.
I think so too. He's in really good form.
If not, we'll get
and those guys probably don't have much idea of how he plays. Like, obviously, different regions. It goes both ways, but he's a very good player.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess you guys have any other dark horses that you're thinking of for this tournament to look out for? Or...
Hut's gonna win it all.
Yeah, Hut Seaver final. Why not?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I got faith.
Both are in really good form. I hope they can get through, or at least sort of put a really good showing in, because they are legit really great players, and don't always get to see it on a LAN in Europe. I think if you follow Maynard's Twitter, I think he flew 40 hours or something. So it's not easy to get there. It's hard to be ready, but both those guys, I think, can do it.
I think it was 40 hours plus delays. Like, the initial trip, I think, was going to be something like that, and then he also had different flights get delayed and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like, and I think he lives full time off of his casting money and off of his stream money, which is probably a good thing, because I definitely don't think he'd have to take off 2 weeks, right, to just make sure that he could or even longer than that. He'd probably need to take a month off of work, right, if he was working a regular job, to make sure that he could get there on time, do the event, and then get home in a decent time. Just because
you have to recover afterwards too. It would take a bit out of you.
Yeah, exactly. That's no joke for traveling. So, but the things that Maynard does for us, he's a base god.
I think Elon Musk was sort of inquiring if he might be one of the first astronauts to Mars, because it's the same sort of journey length. So might be onto something there.
Okay, I think we're ready for our second drawing. So let's get it loaded back up here.
Yes, this one's for $75. Again, we have every player who's played in 5+ tournaments has a ticket, and depending how many they played, depends how many tickets. So there's 570 tickets in it. Who's going to win this one, Toast?
Alrighty, here we go. It is Smile.
Oh wow!
Is that my Smile?
I believe there's only one. Terran from Peru.
Peru?
Yeah.
All right. Well, smile.
He's an Overwatch pro player now.
Pro streamer.
Pro streamer.
Pro streamer, yeah. Well, congratulations to Smile for winning the $75 Renos. Congratulations, my dude. So that'll be going. You can just pay that to me. I'll make sure he gets it.
So he played in 6 tournaments across the first few months of this year.
So that was only that was
and
off
he won
one.
some money.
That was off one ticket.
That's all for one ticket.
Guys, that's all it takes.
One ticket.
That's all it takes.
Sayak, who won the $50, has played in 22 tournaments.
He's putting a little more
context.
work. Just a little bit more. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and take our first little break here, just a little 2-minute break, and then we'll bring it back and we'll see you guys back in about 2 minutes. All right. Alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves that little break that we had. We are back to continue the show, guys. Hope you Crimson's drinking a little water. A little
parched.
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 It's had a big day.
I have actually.
So welcome back. So yeah, we've done 2 drawings so far. So our lucky winners thus far have been Psyark and Smile. We still have 3 drawings coming up, so make sure you stick around. And here we go. Let's see here. So yeah, let's move on into our next topic here. So OSC bounties are getting reworked, right, Eddie? That's how we want to put that?
Not reworked as in how it works, but we've updated the list of players and the values associated with them. So if you want to pull that up, just so we can keep the more active players and sort of have the value of sort of who's increased in OSC sort of performance, etc. like that. So we have quite a few changes if you want to quickly run through them.
Yeah, here we go. So for changes and additions to the bounties, we've got Cyril for $75, Rogue for $60, Dark for $50, Zest for $50, Stats for $50, Mana for $30, and Lucier for $20. And these are the ones that have been fully removed?
Yep.
Okay. So fully removed, we have Byun, Hero, Kelezer, Legionnaire for remastered, Scan for remastered, Cyan, Pili, Penguin, Semper, Chick, Demilove, Jon Snow, and Nice. And then we have some changed in values here. Solar increased to 75 was 60. Rainer increased to 40 was 25. Soul increased to 30 was 25. Seether to 20 was 15. Inertio up to 40, or down to 40. Snoot down to 40. Alive down to 30. Keen to 30. Young to 30, and Probe to 20. So still plenty of prize money to be had. Although I don't know, I think the only one I disagree with is Cyril. I think we should slap the Hundy on him. He's pretty spooky.
Maybe. Obviously, this value attached to the players is not meant to indicate who's the best, who's the worst, or anything like that. It's just sort of a number attached to it. But
right.
Solar recently went up to $75, and it's not added to the total yet. But Jim Rising took him out just the other day. So these values attached to the players, they're big names, stats, innovation, whoever, but they do get beaten.
Yeah.
And it all adds up. We're now since the inception of these bounties quite a few years ago, I started them, and it's added up to a lot of money. We're at $10,800 just in bounties that we've paid out.
Wow.
Which I think is 300 plus, sort of thing. So there's always a few hundred. Well, there must be over 300. There's always, sort of 100 plus a year.
Mm-hmm.
So they are certainly winnable, and we pay out on them. It's a lot of money when you think about it. 10,000, nearly $11,000 in bounties alone. So it's just a great little incentive program we have at OSC, I think, that sometimes people forget about, but you just have to win a best of 3 against these guys, assuming you haven't beaten them, plenty of times before, or they're off racing or something like that. Nice little incentive, I think. What do you guys think, Crimson and Starkiller? You're the guys sort of in the running for this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come on. I can take some games off these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe. You do play Protoss, don't you?
I'm taking games off Solar, but I got a bounty from Cham before. I'm trying to think of who else. I think there's a few others, but I can't name them off the top of my head.
I feel bad for all the poor guys that don't take advantage of the bounty system, right? That they're beating these guys in tournaments and they're not even paying attention. Because that's the real fact. That's what you should really add up, Eddie. How many bounties went unpaid? You should have that as a side set. Be like, we could have paid you, but you missed out.
Well, there is only a couple, actually, because I do keep a record of all of them. And sometimes it's random Chinese name. I'm thinking under 5 examples sort of thing that I haven't been able to track down. But normally I will track down the players and pay them myself.
Hey, you won this. Take your money. But yeah, Crimson, what do you think?
Yeah, it's. I think it makes sense to have the guys who are playing more often on the list. Obviously, there's a couple of guys there that you're right. Me and Starkiller will definitely be competitive with. I know I've had some wins against Cham, maybe not best of 3 wins, but I had Soul pretty much on the ropes the other day. I was 1-0 up, and then I kind of threw game 3 as well. Then obviously Probe and Seether. Somehow still haven't beaten them recently, but certainly working on that. So
it's just Protoss and Terran, man.
Yeah. Just give me ZBZ all day. I'm happy.
Absolutely. And then just to go over some of our recent OSC bounty winners, we've got Runamuk, who would beat Demi for 15, Cyan beating Snoot for 50, Hearthstone beating Cyan for 30, and I think I'm saying the name right. Is it Jaishi?
I think so.
Pretty much, yeah.
Beating Namshar for 30, and then him beating Bly for 30. Go-Go Joey beating Probe for 25. Abaddon beating Demi for 15. Rush Crazy beating Probe for 25. Probe beating Cyan for 30. Rail beating Demi for 15. Soul beating Nice for 15. Nice beating Bly for 30. And then Shadowdown beating Nice for 15 as well. So congratulations to all those guys and your winnings. And make sure you're keeping up on your bounty boards. Making sure you're always going after those top guys for top dollar.
Yeah. Any partnered tournament, OSC partnered tournament, whatever that may be, a Proxy Tempest, a Wardy Cup, Kung Fu Cup, Community Open, etc. If you see those guys in it and you match up against them, you beat them, money's yours.
Absolutely. So we have the OSC All-Stars and the Masters Cups will return with that modified format, and that will be replacing the weekly wager, correct?
Yes. We've decided to put the weekly wager on hiatus. It was a good format. I liked it, how players sort of bet a few points into a pot, and we threw in obviously some as well, and that was run over a month, so you'd have to sort of play in sort of 2 cups to get enough points to win the money. We paid our top 4. It was we had a decent enough sign-ups majority of the time, but on occasion we didn't have enough players. The requirement was eight players, so there was enough points in the pot, so occasionally we had to reschedule it, and it's probably not ideal, but it was a cool little format. We might bring it back, but what I wanted to do was bring the Masters Cups back because they've been on hiatus. We had been running, probably quite familiar with the $1,000 Masters Cups. That was twice a month, and that involved sort of 10 broadcasts within 2 weeks, and we're right in at the moment peak land season. So you got WCS, we had Systom
Right.
Cup, you got GSL qualifiers, Cheesadelphia, etc. So while that had been, all these events have been happening, we haven't been able to run those $1,000 cups, 10 broadcasts in a fortnight. Just players are traveling, there's plenty of conflicts, so we had to put that on hiatus. But I still wanted the Masters Cups to continue. So what we've done is we've set up sort of like a streamlined version of that. So you've got a couple of invite groups and an open qualifier over 4 weeks. So group qualifier, and then a final series, and that's got a base prize pool of $250 as well as a stack of OSC points and the bonuses that we're all aware of. So bringing that back, and we're also bringing back the OSC All-Stars franchise. However, modifying that, it used to be a regional C China NA sort of cup, just a weekly, but we're bringing that back to copy exactly the Masters Cup $250 format I just mentioned. So we can have them both running weekly. So that's a $500 a month, and it's going to be much easier for us to run, given that it's just one day a week. The players know it's going to be that time every week. The finals are going to be that time. If you can play, you can play. If you can't, you can't. So it's going to be easier for us to do. I think it's cool. I like seeing group formats. That's not something we normally have at OSC because we're like sort of the open bracket sort of cup system, aren't we? So we have a few groups going with the GSL format at the moment, 4-player for these initially, and then we have the playoffs for the top 8 players. So
Right.
yeah, we've got Just Jordan casting the Masters Cups and Lady Azilis doing the OSC All Stars. I think Thursday NA and Europe time, and then Friday for Europe and Korea for the All Stars, which is going to be good. Unfortunately, this week we're probably going to clash with WCS. It happens, but we've still got 2 really good groups, I think, of players who are not attending. So if you've got a second monitor, throw it up. If you want to preview these Toast, and maybe see what Starkiller and Crimson think of the format. Crimson's actually in this group, so I'm looking forward to that. So pull it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, here's was the for the Masters Cup. Just to start here, so we had True and Future move on. You can kind of see how that bracket works, and then for the next qualifiers, we'll have Cham, Vindicta, Byweiss, and Goblin. So very cool. But then, to take it over to the All-Stars, we had Gumiho and Bly get out, but then for most importantly, we have Crimson's groups. So Crimson will be up against Keen, and then we'll have Mio, Micah versus Lucira. That's a spooky group.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Not easy.
Well, not with that attitude.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've actually, funnily enough, I've played against all 3 of these guys recently. And obviously I play against Mio quite often, but Keen and Lucira as well. Lucira wiped the floor with me. so I probably wouldn't be that confident against him. I thought my games against Keen were actually pretty good. Like he did the 2-on-1 tank push, and I basically crushed it. And then just made some mistakes after that. When you play against Siva in practice, you get pretty good against the Korean type TVZ builds because that's all he plays.
Right.
So we'll see what I can do. I'd like to take a map off Keen if I can, at least. But obviously, like, this guy's a GSL player, so I'll just see what I can do. Hopefully, I can sneak a map off the Koreans and take out Mio. That would be ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got it, man. You just got to believe. You just got to want it bad enough. So
I reckon so.
I believe.
I'll be practicing for it.
Good to see. And then yeah, I can't wait to watch this. I like this new format. Just looking at it just briefly here. I like how this is looking. So I'm excited to kind of see, what this brings, and maybe we can even see some different tournament adaptation for this type of for this style. So I like it. Well, I think we'll take another quick little 2-minute break. And then we will come back with our third drawing, which will be for $100. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll see you back in just 2 minutes. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We will be doing our third drawing right now, which is the prize of $100. So let's go back to our handy-dandy page here. Let me open up the random thing. Alrighty, here we go. Got our big list here. We'll copy it. We'll paste it. And we'll get a winner. And see there is the winner of the...
Quick, redraw it.
No one saw that. No one saw that. So see, they're winning $100. So you get maybe a little bit of beer money for his trip for Valencia.
Yeah, well, hopefully not his only win this weekend.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Worst case
It's a good omen.
Hopefully good things to come on that. So congratulations to Seether for winning the $100. And we still have 2 more coming up, guys. We do have the $150, which would be next. And then to end the show, we'll be doing our drawing for the grand prize of the flight. So return there and back, airfare, and your hotel cost. And then I believe entry to the tournament, whatever it is. All right, let's take a look. So next here, we have the OSC Team Championship, which is kind of been the ongoing thing for like Team League right now for OSC. So we can take a look at that. Obviously, Exceed were the the 2017 champions. So a very tough team with Clem and Rayner, two of the youngest players, but two very dominant players.
They got pretty good depth to the team as well. Not household names, but guys like Gerald and Ryosis and etc. A few other guys there. Ryu, I think, is another one. So they had a really great, like, in the playoffs. They started in the lower bracket because it was seeded by rankings throughout the year, right? So they had an awesome lower bracket run. It's actually there on the post. So they're our champions. They got a trophy. They're back for season 2018. We're now 2 months into it, and currently Rise Esports lead the way, followed by OSC Elite, Dust Gaming, I think third, Slicestorm Gaming, Sloth Esports, and Exceed are sixth.
Yep.
We've got clan prizes as well. So there's quite a few clans registered. In fact, more clans have expressed interest of signing up than teams, surprisingly. We really need to get teams involved and signed up on this if we want to really keep going with it. Because it's quite a big money investment. There's good money to be made. All you got to do is play in tournaments, which the players are doing anyway. So there's no reason not to. But yeah, it's actually surprising the clans have sort of jumped on board more, and it's just, I think, a base prize pool of $100 to the clans. So there you go. Yeah, the rankings is updated every minute, pulled from the OSC database. Pepe created a nice little website, oscteamchampionship.com, that you can see. And he had a few ideas in mind as well, if he can get the time to get to it, where if you click on the team, it'll display individual players' stats, like tournaments played, wins, etc. That's something we can hopefully work towards, which would, I'm sure, be a benefit to teams as well, so they can easily access that data if they're not already doing so from the world rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. And then speaking of world rankings here, let's get that pulled up because we're about halfway through the year of our world rankings. Let's see here. Pull that up and take a look at it. Here we are. So sitting on top, we have Sol Romson. I'm still surprised. Is anyone else surprised that Romson is still teamless?
Yeah.
Like even if it's like one of the smaller teams or whatever, like, I'm just super surprised to, like, he wins a ton of online cups. Like, if nothing else, he's great for, like, your team exposure that way.
Mm-hmm.
It just surprises me. But yeah, Mio Micah, Cham, Seether, Future, and then Starkiller, BioIce, and Thermal rounding out the top 10 there. And then I'll link this in the chat for those that want to take a closer look at everything.
Yeah, Solar on top, he's had an unbelievable year. But a lot of those names you mentioned, there's not much separating these guys, you know, like Starkiller, BioIce, Future. They're all sort of neck and neck every single tournament, so it all sort of ties in together. And for those unfamiliar with how the rankings work, it goes towards seeding towards our championship at the end. So you sort of want to be obviously finishing as high as you do, because that'll lead towards more money in the championship. Of course, there's ongoing benefits throughout the year, whatever maybe incentives you have with your team, or if you're teamless, that could go a long way to solving that, you know, sort of through the data and results that you achieve. It reflects that. But yeah, top 50 would qualify for the championship, and it's starting to look a pretty stacked top 50. We mentioned Starkiller, top 10, having a really good year.
I'm coming for Solar.
Yeah. He's got a bit of a lead, but you can do it. Crimson here, I think it's fair to say you're having a really good year as well, particularly the last few months. You're playing in ton of stuff, mate. So you're ranked, I think, about 30th or something.
Yeah, I think
36th.
Probably prior to June, I was sort of down about 80th, and then I just started picking up on tournaments again. So, yeah, having a bit of a blast playing those again, because I kind of took a break to focus on practice and that sort of thing. But I've found that it's basically I need tournaments for practice too. You know, it's one of those things you have to practice playing best of threes in a tournament scenario. Otherwise, when it comes to the real thing, like the big WCS stuff, you're not going to go anywhere. So, yeah, definitely trying to play a lot more and enjoying it.
Yeah, I've seen throughout, obviously being involved with teams and obviously tournaments and et cetera, et cetera. There's definitely a correlation between tournament activity and tournament success, and that translating to offline or just in general improvement. So I think OSC is a great way to facilitate that. Obviously, there's money involved and prizes, et cetera, but it's a great platform to practice, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we do have kind of that stat page, and you can kind of see the most tournaments played by player, most tournaments won. So a very neat graphic here that we have for you, top 50 country breakdown. So very cool statistics here. I like it.
Yeah, if you want to have a good look at it, anyone stand out to you or
Star Killer?
I think Cham's win percentage is really impressive. To have an 86% series win percentage for, you'd expect someone like Dark or Innovation to have that sort of level, but for Cham to have that over, 35 tournaments? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last year, he had the most tournament wins for the year as well. I think it was something like 40 or 44. Insane. He's a beast online.
Yeah.
I think those are some hard things to improve off of, right? Like, I mean, like to get better win rates than that, like that's such a tough thing to like improve on, right? Like just your overall like set win rates. So, but I mean, the guys that are obviously like at the top there are, world-class players, right? Like Cham, you've got, Innovation up there as well. I mean, it's kind of crazy that it can be that high. Like even at the level they play at, like it feels like that's like really high. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It is. StarCraft series are hard to win consistently because you mentioned they're playing those same sort of guys.
Parting's right up there, 85%. I guess there are a couple names that stand out, like Damaga. Obviously, not playing very much, right? And like not a name that we're seeing as much as we used to in the past. Like that's pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, and that's from 7 tournaments, so it's not a lot. The minimum we took into account was 5 tournaments played. Obviously, if you play in one tournament, you sort of make round of 4 or something, you're going to have a pretty good percentage. But we set it to 5. So he's played in 7 and 18 series, though. So it's a decent little sample size. But
I mean, that's probably 7 more than I thought that he'd play in this year. To be honest, like I said, just not a name that, we're seeing a whole lot of lately. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah.
Then we have a lot of players have actually earned a few dollars from playing OSC. 210 players, 97 players have won tournaments. I think that's a great little achievement that I'm proud of. It's not just everybody or a couple of people farming all the money. We sort of spread it out quite well, which is sort of reflected in the way we run our championship and prizes. So that's pretty good. Maybe we can get that up $300-400. There's another 6 months to go, isn't there? So
yeah, absolutely.
$54 bounties collected. Nearly 1,000 players competed in OSC events in 6 months, which is, I think, above last year's standings at the same time of the year. For a total of last year, we had 1,234. So I think we're going to push past that again. Grow participation, which is nice. Obviously, we've got these cool rewards we're doing today, which might be a factor. Free to play might be a factor, but regardless, it's still growth of people playing in OSC, which is fantastic. That's what we're about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And country breakdown. Korea, obviously. United States, Poland, really strong. That's quite cool.
Where's News? Oh, there they are.
I'm holding us up. Don't worry. Just about. It'd be nice to get that up to 2 or 3, though.
At least you're on the list.
Yeah, just about snuck in there.
carrying them.
So it's not like the United States with 7 up there, knocking on Korea's door on that with that 12. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'll ask you guys: is there anybody you think might push into the top 50 in the second half of the year, or move higher than they currently are? If you want to give a couple of names.
Are you talking about for the for the world rankings per player?
Yep.
To Gerald.
Let's see. So I can show everyone again. From the top 50, let's see. Rayner. He's currently ranked 50th. I think he will move up. Let's see. Who else do I think is going to move up? Let's see who's below that. Neeb could definitely be moving up if he played in more.
Yeah, current reigning champion.
Zanster, Clem, I think those would be great opportunities for them. Kellizer.
I think Massa should definitely move up because he's more likely to play. See, I see a lot of these Korean names, and they're kind of less likely to play as many tournaments. But someone like Massa would definitely be looking to move up, I think.
Yeah, these rankings are updated to the end of June as well.
Right.
If you've been following recent tournaments, Massa's actually won a few, which haven't been added. So he's probably jumped up another, 10, 15 spots. He's in really good form at the moment. He's probably played in maybe 6 to 8 tournaments already in a week and a half. He's really hitting it hard in Korea, so that's a good call. He'll be rising up the rankings, which is what we'd like to see from an OSC elite perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another, just to name it, a couple more people here that I think could improve. Rail, and then also, who was it? I just saw their name. Oh, Hut. I think Hut could go even higher. Right now, Hut's at 18. I think he could get even higher than that.
I think so. Same with Demi. He's normally a participation machine. Sort of top 4 finisher regularly in cups. I think both of those guys could go up. We actually have a bit of good news. There's a new C regular cup happening from just a community member starting that up. HBC Cup will be on Tuesday, so that's another pathway for the ANZ guys to get some points. So, yeah, that may contribute to someone like Hut winning a couple of those, gaining a few points, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So good stuff on the rise for that. Yeah, I don't know.
What about your boy? I think Cicada. He's certainly someone capable of pushing top 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's currently at. I looked at it here actually, and I don't know what's going on with this list because there's definitely some of my players that. Let's see here. Why isn't this working now? I don't know. Okay, so I was browsing through it here just a moment ago. And there's some players that are on my team that are not on my team. So I don't know how they're... Like, I don't know who it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's some, random, Koreans that are on my team now, apparently.
Just take the Koreans.
Take what you can get.
Well, they're not named Koreans. They're not necessarily doing that well. But yeah, right now, Cicada's currently ranked 99. So he could definitely get up there. He's taking a little break. He's just back at home. He's got the, he's off from school. And he's one of those guys that actually plays better from the dorm, when he's away from his family and not, doesn't have those social obligations and can just be a nice closet nerd and get stuff done. So as soon as he's back, at the dorm, you could definitely see him go up. And another one would be Agile, who's new to the team, to see him start getting on here as well. He's definitely someone who could get to the, I'd say at least break into the top 50. He's been laddering just like a maniac. Just recently got, I think, what did he tell me was he got 6-3 on EU today. He's ranked 10 above TLO right now. So doing pretty good. He's just grinding those out. So definitely a welcome member of the team. So I'm just excited for the progress that he's gonna bring.
And maybe a few new pickups you were teasing.
Oh yeah, well I mean they're I already saw one of them on this list. I won't say who it is, though, but they're somewhere on here.
There you go. Are you saying Solar's contract's expiring and maybe picking him up?
Yeah.
I can't say. I can't say, but no, but yeah. So yeah, you guys will get the announcer. Don't worry, it'll happen. It's probably not going to happen for a while. I'm probably teasing it a little bit too early. We probably wouldn't be making the announcement until at least the beginning of August. So we got a whole another month until then, but it'll come eventually, and I think everyone will be surprised, good surprised. So, speaking of surprises, should we do another drawing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good little segue there, huh? Okay, it's almost like I've done this before.
I believe in Smile. He's got this.
Well, you never know. Okay, here we go. Switching it over. All right, got our list copied.
So this one's for $150.
Yep, 150. So can I get a drum roll? Can you guys do a little drum roll? Alrighty. Eon.
That production.
Ooh.
Winning 150. So congratulations, my friend, on that prize. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations. I think it's such a cool idea. You know what I mean? Just for players to be able to like, you're doing like the drawing and stuff, like there's so, like, we were talking about this. There's just so many ways to win with OSC. Bounties and tournaments and points and team leagues and just drawings. Like, it's amazing. Like, if you're
so Eon is a Zerg from Costa Rica. He's played in a respectable 25 tournaments, and he just picked up $150 just for doing that.
Yep, congratulations. So let's talk about some speaking of OSC winners, let's talk about some tournament winners, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Taking a look at just some winners here, we just have from the Proxy Tempest EU Open, Koss. From the Blazing Series, we have Ragnarok. The JEC Weekly number 9, Masa. OSC Melee number 42, Puck. The Sunday Heroes Open to Guru. SC2 Online Community Open for Snoot. Play Pro Weekly going to Antis, who's a name that I'm seeing pop up more and more. So, what do you guys think of him as a player?
I think he's improving a lot. I think he's a little bit underrated on the NA scene, but I think he has a lot of potential to get challenger next season for sure. I think his ZVZ is like unstoppable. Like, I remember the last challenger qualifier, he beat Kane twice, I think. So, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we had the Sentimentino Latino, Jim Rising. Proxy Tempest Open, the winner was Goblin. Proxy Tempest Open, Jig. The Kung Fu Weekly, Innovation. SCV Rush Open, let's see. Christainer? I guess I don't know how you would say that name. Unless I know how to say it, I am terrible with pronunciations of names. Like, unless I've heard someone say it, I am awful, so I apologize. Weekly wager, we had Leonok, Railgun win for Proxy Tempest EU Open. Haas winning the Blazing Series for May 5th. The JEC Weekly number 8 going to Seoul, and the OSC Melee number 41 going to Masa. So congratulations to all those guys for winning those tournaments, and we hope you see you playing more.
Quite a good mix of players, really. Of course, these can be viewed on SC2 Online, home of OSC. Latest results are updated there as soon as they happen, as well as rankings and bounties, etc. So if you want to have a look any day, that's the place to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we go into our next section for our community questions. So let's take a look here. So from Azelis for Starkiller, how hard is it for you to maintain your skill level while being in college as well?
It's definitely tough. When I was in my first year of college, I noticed like I didn't really have much time to practice, but I tried to play as many tournaments as I still could, and that's kind of like how I got my practice. And I feel like I couldn't get better when I was in college. I was more consistent of a player, but I think as long as I'm consistent, it'll still be all right, because I know in the summer I can improve a lot, but it's just with school, it's a lot of work, and I'm just involved in a lot of things like a fraternity and stuff. So it's a heavy plate of stuff, and being able to, it's nice to be consistent though. I think I'm okay with that.
Okay. So this is from Azelis for Eddie. OSC Elite being about a year old now, and looking at the incredible talent that you have on the team, that you have on the team. Did the team meet your expectations in terms of tournament activity and results?
Yes, we just recently passed our 1-year anniversary. I think I'm quite proud of the guys we have and what they've achieved. I think numerous WCS stops we've had players hit the round of 16. Obviously, a key focus for us is the OSC World Rankings and activity, and a lot of our guys are very active and performing in online tournaments as well. So really happy with that. I think we've also done quite well in the C region in the Pro League. We had a really good season too, only losing in the grand final to SYF, Crimson's boys. They're tough to beat. That was a nice little bonus there. I think we recruited a couple of really good rising C talent in Vivid and Fury. Vivid is actually one of the highest participating players in the league overall and is number one in C. And it can be a bit hard on himself, but I've definitely seen improvement. Like he's taking maps of guys like Hart and Crimson and Demi and the really top sort of 6 to 8 players within his region. So if he keeps that up, that's going to start translating into series, and he might have a nice WCS run either coming up next for Montreal or certainly in 2019. So that's nice. And Fury is a very talented, just raw talented player. He was playing Terran for most of his, I guess, recent career, but has recently switched to Protoss, and he's quite highly ranked on career at the moment.
Imagine that.
I think yeah, Protoss maybe he's just A moving, but yeah, so look out for him. It's quite funny as well because he's a little bit sort of unaware of the larger StarCraft scene. Like he'll play somebody in a tournament and he'll be totally unaware of who they are, or if he takes a map off someone, we say, well done. I think an example is good job taking a map of Guru or some of these type of top EU sort of Korean players. And he's like, oh, who was that? Even within the local scene, he's not fully aware of the bigger names and everything. So he's just a naturally talented StarCraft player. So it's great to have him sort of adding depth to our squad. And obviously we've got guys like Massa and Cham representing us at all the stops. And recently we had Sol into his contract expired, and he's now moved on to another team. But he was really good for us, and it was nice to see his development as a player, certainly skill-wise, from the time we picked him up, improve. So I wish him well. And we've had like players like Haas, who is just like a freakishly talented all-in sort of. You got to watch his games, but his contract expired as well, and he wasn't really an active player so much, which is sort of what we're looking for. But certainly, I think everybody's a fan of him, and he was great to have on the team while we had him. So yeah, really happy with that. Looking forward to see what all the players can do over the rest of the journey. Continues to support them. Absolutely. And just grow the team. I think we've done a lot in a year, results and branding, etc. So we'll see. Big things to come, hopefully.
Good stuff here. All right, our next question comes from, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, Topper Oko. And Eddie, this is for you. Are you satisfied with the participant rate in the community events? Did you expect more or less when you started engaging in these kind of events?
Yeah, good question. Toporoko is actually quite a regular in OSC. He's a random player, so a bit of respect for him. He's one of the higher random players. Satisfied with participation in community events. At this current moment where StarCraft 2 is at, yeah, I think we did quite well. Regularly, we have, sort of good-sized brackets, and certainly the talent we get in there, as well as we mentioned, nearly 1,000 players have competed in OSC events within the 6 months. So we're probably on track again to beat our target of last year, and post growth there. When I started running these events, though, I've actually been doing this like 8+ years now, since Wings of Liberty. Back in those days, there was just huge brackets. I remember doing some of the first Masters Cups. I'm not overstating it. Like, we had like 100+ players in these, and even that was sort of like more local, my sort of ANZ sort of scene times anyway. Obviously, that didn't have the competition that the esports scene has now, where you got, you know, your Fortnite, your LoL, Dota, etc. So naturally, obviously, there's going to be some decline since I've been around that long. But in the context of where we are now within esports, I'm quite happy to see all OSC partnered events have stable, or at least maybe even improvement on participation. I think that sort of ties back into everything we've mentioned throughout the show. You know, your bounties, your prizes, your rankings, your practice, it all sort of ties in. And while, yes, that is great for your top players, I think the rewards also see, you know, up and comers or just casuals sign up for a few tournaments. So yes, pretty happy with it.
Good deal. And then again, for you, Eddie, any ideas to increase participation among pros? Examples: getting bigger sponsors or higher prizes, or among lower league players, similar to the Bronze Diamond Series, or the raffle that is based on signups rather than performance.
Well, bigger sponsors would be nice, but it's not easy to come by.
Right, that's an easy thing to suggest, not an easy thing to go and do.
But I think we are working towards it. It's also personally like a matter of time to have those conversations with sponsors, etc. We have a great team at OSC, but to help out with that net. Now we've recently picked up a couple of new league managers to assist, since we had to replace Illusory. So now we've got Kuro and Bryolf helping out now. So I might have a bit more time to maybe have a bit of a chat with some sponsors and show off our statistics and a loyal community and what we're doing with StarCraft. So maybe we can get some new sponsors. Bigger prize pools, yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, we do have big cups.
Yeah.
You know, we mentioned the $1,000 Masters Cups. We work with people, partner tournaments, you know, like we've done Fear Dragon, has done the Ladder Heroes, and all these sort of cups, they all add up, as well as, you know, your $50 weeklies, etc. There's a good mix at OSC. The second part of that question was lower league players. We don't tend to create tournaments focused towards them. Our main goal is to have open tournaments which would include them. Because a requirement is sort of that a tournament has, you know, prize pool, so you can attach OSC points, and largely we like them to be open. If you're talking bronze to gold or bronze to diamond, etc., quite often it might only be coaching or for fun or something, which is great and it should be certainly focused on. But to tie that into OSC can be tricky. I mentioned, like, I've been doing StarCraft stuff for 8+ years. I used to run gold, platinum, diamond tournaments once a week. That was sort of my thing, as well as the Masters Cups. So that was great, but we had a larger player base back then. But yeah, we really want to get these guys involved playing in open tournaments, because we have these cool prizes. You know, a flight can win. You don't have to be a pro, and it's probably of more value to someone who's not a pro. And win some dollars, and maybe not bounties, but participation prizes, and just get to know some of the StarCraft pros, or, you know, someone around your level. It's not a huge community. Like, you're going to meet people and you're going to talk to people. So we're probably more focused on open tournaments rather than in bronze to diamond. Certainly open to ideas if we can work it in. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at with that. Good question.
I think Macca's sponsoring OSC is coming, right? I think that's something that we could look for.
It would be nice. It would be nice. They've certainly helped out my local region for the WCS. They've been working with the Blizzard ANZ guys And while Macca's are pretty good, you know,
Right.
I do love a few nuggets, and they got a good range.
Quarter pounder with
So
cheese.
might have to hit them up, you know.
What do they call a quarter pounder in Australia?
It's just I don't know. I don't normally get the burgers from Macca's, but they do. So they got Big Macs and you know, chicken burgers and fillet burgers and etc. They got a wide range, gourmet burgers now, beautiful.
Gourmet.
So
Okay,
look, if we're starting to talk sponsorships, I'll happily show the whole range on stream.
Will you eat one of everything on stream?
Yep. It's affordable too. So,
only spent $5 for this feast.
I'll have to get a better webcam to show that off.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
One thing at a time.
Yeah. Now, did I also one thing I didn't see on the list here, but didn't a new tournament get just announced here a little bit ago, like today?
Not really. The announcement is related to what's below, but I did mention that we have a new C only tournament fortnightly coming up on Tuesdays. So look out for that if you're from our region. So that's something to look out for. But the announcement, actually, if you want to open up Toast, is something more OSC general, sort of OSC elite as well.
Oh, I mean, we can definitely come back into that once we take our little break here. I think I'll take our 2 minute, and then what we'll go is we'll cover that surprise announcement. We're winding down the show, guys. So we'll go over this next announcement, and then we're gonna do our last drawing. So make sure you get everyone you can to join us for the drawing. It'll probably be at about 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that, and we'll see you guys in about 2 minutes. All right.
Rigged.
You're seeing me do it live. It can't be. It's pre-recorded. Like I know it is. One of your players already won.
Didn't you just switch scenes?
Welcome back, guys. Okay, so we have one of our big announcements, and it's that is it starting today? Correct, Eddie?
Yes.
Starting today, we
are live.
We officially have open the OSC shop, which you can visit at sc2online.com/OSC shop and check out all of this sweet swag. Take a look at these jackets. You got some hoodies and some hats. Oh man, that's a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna need to place an order here after the show. To bust out the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at how happy these guys are wearing it. There's Eddie sporting it. Oh man, even some ladies. I don't know who they are, but looking good in their jerseys. So very cool.
Yeah, so this is something that for fans of OSC Elite, you want to wear a jersey or something, you want to give back and support the team, or go to WCS where hopefully and always going to have players at WCS. So yeah, jackets, hoodies, hats, men and women's fits. So yeah, on our website, quite simple to use. We've set it up, just PayPal. You got a cart, checkout, delivery, straight to you. You want to support OSC Elite, that's the way to do it. What I would actually like to do is have a greater range of merchandise and apparel, something maybe more StarCraft generic. So maybe if people want to come up with some custom clothes, doesn't have to be OSC related, but maybe some memes on a t-shirt, something funny. We'll put it up on the shop. Obviously work with whoever designs it, so
right.
That, get their cut or whatever. But something would be really cool. Some Protoss shirts, some Terran shirts, etc. Just to have a nice shop. Some options for clothing, because I love to wear whatever it might be, sports clothes, TV show clothes, just t-shirts. I want to get a bit of a collection going. Maybe some other people thinking the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's cool.
I really like our jersey design and colors and everything like that, and we've had some really good feedback on it too. So this is another way for people to quite easily support the team, grab one themselves. I'm open to putting other teams on there if we can work something out with them. Obviously this is on SC2 Online, our home website, so it does get a reasonable amount of viewership, because that's where you go to for your tournaments and results and world rankings, etc., isn't it? So yeah, it's quite a big little step for us to open a store, and I think this is going to help OSC Elite with the branding. Certainly we're in deep with StarCraft at the moment, but maybe we'll go into something else, expand, and I think it's pretty cool.
Very cool, very cool. I already have an idea for you. So it's the picture of Beyond where he's got his thumbs up like that, and then underneath it says Patch Terran. I think that'd be
bring back my Reapers.
I think that'd be your number one seller.
Yeah, I really would like to do some sort of fun t-shirts. We'll just make them cheap, We're not in this to make a lot of money, but right. Some cool StarCraft stuff is what I'd love to see.
Well, did you guys see the pylon shirt with Artosis and then In Control on it? It's like In Control's like the moon, and then there's like 3 pictures of Artosis on it. Like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. It's so funny. I think
and I think those from the pylon show are available through Matcherino, and given our relationship with Matcherino, that's something we could probably facilitate for a greater range as well, and we can put that on tournaments and put some of the prize pool towards tournaments. That's another great thing we could look to do if we go down that path. So yeah, it's a nice little step, I think, for OSC, and especially OSC Elite, but I'd love more general StarCraft stuff as well if we can do it.
Dante's got one good in the chat, reaping the benefits. That would be a good one. I like that. That's clever. Crimson, what do you think? Come up with one real quick. Well, what would you do?
Oh, come on. Don't put me on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
You can put me on the spot.
Starkiller,
I'll take it.
What do you think?
You spent, I think, the Velo shirt.
Just him in general?
Something like...
Hacker!
I saw an 8-range queen one. 8-range queen or something like that. I'm complaining about that.
I'm surprised he hasn't done that for himself, to be honest with you. Just like his own merch line. Like, oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. That's always fun, right? Just like fun stuff like that. I love things like that so much. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can come up with some ideas. So guys, if you have some ideas, maybe Eddie, where could they send their ideas to you?
We have a public Discord that it's good community there. Anyone can join. Otherwise, you can email it to us at oscsc2@gmail.com or reach out via Twitter OSC Esports. We're quite easy to contact. Happy to hear them.
Very cool.
Also, just wanted to make an announcement that since we're doing all these lottery prizes, just an adjustment towards the OSC Esports channel supporter prizes. We're going to be adjusting the time frame from January to September to January to December. So we're extending it a little bit. Reason being that it sort of just makes sense that it goes for a year. There's actually not going to be many events from like October to December anyway. So we can't really send anyone anywhere then. Mm-hmm. So we're actually just going to push it back for a 1-year prize. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. I think it's pretty fair. Apologies if you think otherwise, but yeah, still, it's got the awesome prizes. We also have subscribing prizes monthly. We give away those nice jerseys we're talking about, as well as some money for your subscription, etc. So replays, nice little perks. We're hoping we can get some nice community support on the channel. We appreciate those who have done so. Hopefully we can build on it going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, here's what everyone was waiting for. We're going to do our last drawing. So everyone cross your fingers now. Chant a spell or something to increase your luck by 5. Roll your dice.
Flights, accommodation, and entry to a StarCraft 2 event of your choosing. Not Overwatch, not Dota. Must be StarCraft 2.
Must be StarCraft 2. Okay, here we go. We will copy from our list. Throw it back into our random program. Can I get one more drum roll, guys? All right, this is it. This is it. Here we go. And the winner of the flight is Mia Micah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Well, congratulations, Mia, for your flight.
That's perfect.
Oh man.
Wow, Mio Mike is currently ranked number 4 in the OSC World Rankings. One of the more active players. He's played in 56 tournaments, so probably deserving. He had a few tickets in this lottery.
Yeah, I think he had 5 or 6, didn't he?
We can probably have a look.
I guess
he
had do that.
He had 6 tickets out of a total of 570 tickets in there, so still a small chance, but he won.
Yep. Congratulations to him.
There you go. You play more tournaments, you get more tickets. Maybe take that on board for the next 6 months. Could be anyone.
Yeah, Mia.
Could be Mia Micah again.
Mio might get to Montreal confirmed. I think that might be right. That could be a definite possibility. Although I don't know how he would do in the I don't know how he would do in the cold.
True.
He might not function well.
Hopefully we can. I'm just thinking here with Vietnam visas and stuff. Hopefully we can sort of work through that and get the tournament that he wants to go to, because he will have his choice. We can try and set that up.
Right. Yeah.
And he's actually somebody who could have a really good run in like an open bracket. So
yeah,
nice result.
And he's probably just like, damn it, visa issues again. Like, I've already dealt with this. Son of a no. But no, congratulations to Mio. So very cool. Congratulations to all those that won. I believe Psyarch, Smile, Eon, Seether, and Mio. So I think that's everyone who won. So congratulations to those guys. Thanks you guys so much for joining us, Starkiller, Crimson. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Always good to see you guys. Starkiller, are you going to be at Chicago, as I've been calling it?
I won't be at Chicago, but I'll be at DC.
Be at the DC land. Okay. Well, we'll see you. Yeah. We'll see you out at the DC land then. And Crimson, when are we going to see you back in the States, or back North American way? Maybe from Montreal.
I don't see why not. That's the goal. So hopefully Montreal, and if not, hopefully something not too long after that.
There we go. And Eddie, what about you, man?
You can always
you got to take a vacation here.
Yeah, I would like to. I was thinking about Montreal actually, but I'm probably going to push it back to next year.
Unless he
maybe Crimson can challenge Mio Micah in his OC All Stars group. Winner gets the flight. You know.
Yeah.
What am I going to have to offer to make that work? God damn.
I don't know, man. A lot of stuff. All right. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching with us today for the show. We'll catch you next week. We'll probably have another show, I would guess. Let's see. Montreal is what? Next month? No, not until September. So
It's not until September.
I'd say sometime around the end of close to the end of August. We probably have another show right before Montreal will probably be our next show. So join us then when we go back over all the new happenings for OSC. And thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.